Segment of Happier at Home, and this week we are discussing senior care and housing resources. We're joined by none other than Deb Marcello with more. Good morning, Deb. Thanks so much for waking up with us.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Hope you're well, too. So my first question, I want to kick this off because this can be a sensitive discussion that you really certainly should have with your parent or grandparent, anybody that's aging in your life, is how they care for themselves and the care that is provided to them, living at home or living in an assisted living home, correct?
Correct. You always should have open communication, conversations about what their goals are. And along that lines, you need to understand what resources are out there for you and for your loved one. And particularly uncomfortable situations come about when you don't have those conversations. And so it's more difficult sometimes when they're living afar. So having those resources lined up in advance is really helpful. So at least you know that you have connections in the community, you know what your options are, and this way you're not reacting and you're being proactive and not just reacting within a crisis situation.
So I have to imagine this is all done on an individual case-by-case basis. I would know my parents pretty well, so I would know what sort of care, if I see them often, I would know what sort of care they could potentially need. So the conversation is ready to be had. What sort of resources should I have looked up and done some digging into in advance before I bring that up as a topic of conversation?
Well, some of your professionals that you deal with should be having these conversations with you. If you have a financial planner, an elder law attorney, I know, there's Fortress Financial Solutions. They're interweaving these important services throughout your life. So not only looking at one particular point in time, but planning in advance. So your professionals that you're dealing with, they should have connections already with these resources. So making sure you're having open communications with them and what your goals are. Certainly, there are geriatric care managers, and those types of services, sometimes you have to pay for. I know that with Happier at Home, we really want to focus on what people's goals are and then help them to achieve and maintain those goals. But if you look within your county, any county across the country, your Office of the Aging, they'll have lists of different resources that you can call for any kind of services, whether that's going to be in the home or whether that might be relocating to a senior community as well.
I apologize, I cut you off there, but I have to imagine beginning these conversations earlier, potentially a couple of years before any care might even be needed, would be beneficial, knowing what your parent or grandparent wants in their future.
Yeah, definitely. And having that conversation will help you to, when they start to decline a little bit, then you're able to put some services in place so it's not so intrusive. If you call senior advisors like Senior Care Patrol, those are senior advisors that will help you for free for placement or for services, and recognizing that on the back end that they may be receiving referral fees from communities that they recommend. But you're also able to talk with that advisor about what your limitations are with a distance, or perhaps how much you might have to spend on care. A lot of people don't know that you could use your Veterans Administration for these services as well. There are some programs as well for those that qualify, the veterans that qualify for aid and attendance. And so there are a lot of resources out there. There's a statewide directory, which we will post on our blog that it's good for each state, and you could filter it out based on
Beautiful.
what types of needs you have.
All right. Deb Marcello, important information. Thank you so much for waking up. We're going to post all of this information on our